My parents forced me to claim my sister was my daughter. The truth was revealed at their anniversary party. I was 18 and about to start college when my mom had my sister Ruby. My parents were 45 and 47, and the pregnancy was a complete accident. Mom was mortified when she found out. She was the regional director at her company, and my dad had just made partner at his law firm. They spent 9 months telling no one except me. Mom wore loose clothes, worked from home during the last trimester, and told her office she had back surgery. When Ruby was born, my parents brought her home and told me the plan. I was going to tell everyone Ruby was mine. They said it was temporary, just until they figured things out. They'd already told the neighbors I'd gotten pregnant in high school and was keeping the baby. I hadn't even had a boyfriend. They enrolled Ruby at daycare under my name, put me on all her medical forms as the mother. When I said this was insane, Dad said I owed them for 18 years of raising me, and this was my chance to pay them back. Mom said if I didn't agree, they wouldn't pay for college. I needed that degree to get away from them, so I agreed. The story they told everyone was that I'd gotten pregnant senior year, and the father disappeared. They were being supportive grandparents, letting me and my baby live with them. Mom would cry to her friends about how hard it was watching her teenage daughter struggle with motherhood. Dad told his partners he was heartbroken, but standing by me. They got so much sympathy and praise for not kicking me out. Meanwhile, I was the teen mom who ruined her life. My high school friends stopped talking to me because their parents didn't want them around a bad influence. My relatives whispered about me at family events. My grandmother sent me pamphlets about adoption and said I was selfish for keeping Ruby when I couldn't provide for her. I couldn't date because what guy wants an 18-year-old with a baby? I started college locally because my parents said I needed to be home for Ruby. They'd drop her at daycare, but I had to pick her up. If she was sick, I missed classes. Professors would see me with a baby and assume I was irresponsible. One actually said in front of the whole class that maybe I should have thought about education before having unprotected sex. My mom would post on social media about the sacrifices she made helping her daughter raise a baby. She'd share articles about grandparents raising grandchildren with captions about doing what's right for family. Her friends would comment about what an angel she was. Dad would bring Ruby to his office sometimes and let everyone fawn over his granddaughter while shaking his head sadly about his daughter's mistakes. They'd have me bring Ruby to their work events so everyone could see their burden. People would look at me with pity or disgust while my parents got praised for their support. At Ruby's first birthday, my parents threw a huge party. They invited all their friends and made me stand there holding Ruby while they talked about the challenges of having a grandchild so young. I wanted to scream the truth, but my parents had made it clear that college funding depended on maintaining the lie. For 3 years this continued. I couldn't transfer to a better school because I was Ruby's mother on paper. I couldn't study abroad. I couldn't take internships that required travel. My transcript had gaps from all the times I had to handle Ruby's needs. My parents, meanwhile, told everyone how proud they were for supporting me despite my mistakes. When Ruby turned 4, she started asking questions. My parents told her to call me mama and them grandma and grandpa. But at home, when no one was around, they'd parent her and treat me like a sister. My parents would get annoyed when Ruby wanted me instead of them, saying I was confusing her by trying to act like her mother. The breaking point came when Ruby started kindergarten. The teacher conference request came to me since I was listed as her mother. When I showed up, my mom was already there. She told the teacher she handled education decisions as the grandmother since I was too young to understand. The teacher looked at me with such pity. She actually offered to connect me with resources for teen mothers trying to finish their education. That night, I told my parents I was done. They said Ruby was starting to understand things and changing the story now would traumatize her. They said I'd already sacrificed 5 years. What was 13 more until she was 18? They promised they'd make it worth my while in their will. That's when I knew exactly when to tell the truth. My parents' 30th anniversary was coming up. They'd rented a ballroom, invited 200 people, planned speeches about their journey as parents and grandparents. They asked me to bring Ruby so everyone could see their beautiful granddaughter they'd helped raise. During the slideshow of their life together, there was a whole section about becoming grandparents and supporting their teen daughter. Photos of them with Ruby while I stood in the background looking ashamed. The crowd was murmuring about how strong they were. When it came time for speeches, I wasn't supposed to speak, but I stood up anyway with Ruby and walked to the microphone. I said I wanted to thank my parents for raising both their daughters with such love. Then I turned to Ruby and said I had something important to tell her. Full story on channel, link below.